Welcome back students to my English class. Today we will be studying another poetry from your class 9 syllabus titled as Rain on the Roof from your textbook titled as Beehive. Now students, before we start off with the chapter, I would want all of you to kindly open page number 41 on your textbook so that we can actually follow up together. Alright? Now before we actually proceed further with the explanation of the poem, I just want to all of you to imagine how it would sound or how would you feel listening to Rain on the Roof. Just imagine, just try to create this picture in your mind. It's night time and it's raining and you can hear the sound of the raindrops falling upon the roof. Just try to picture that in your mind. Alright, now let us begin with the chapter. When the sky is covered with dark clouds and it starts raining, have you ever listened to the patter of the soft rain on the roof? Patter means this soft pattering sound produced by the raindrops on the roof. What thoughts flashed through your mind as you heard this melody of nature? Exactly what I asked you before. What were the thoughts which were going through your mind? Now read the poem to find out what the poet dreamed of while listening to the rain. Now our poet, as we all know, is Kinney. And this is one of his most well-known poems. It is basically, when it was first published, people used to sing it. Why they used to sing it, we'll actually discuss that in detail later. But let us continue with this first. Because we all know that poets have a vivid imagination. They are very creative. We all have discussed that so far. But they have a unique way of thought process. They have a unique way of processing even the natural, simplest of things in this world. Like here in this poem, our poet is actually imagining and dreaming when something as simple as raindrops falling on the roof takes place. Let's see how much he actually goes ahead. When the humid shadows hover over all the starry spheres, and the melancholy darkness gently weeps in rainy tears, what a bliss to press the pillow of a cottage chamber bed and lie listening to the patter of the soft rain overhead. Now through the first 4 lines, students, when the humid shadows hover. Here humid shadows is being denoted to, yes, the clouds which actually carry the raindrops in it. Hover means, hovering basically denotes the act when something is continuing to hover around your head. Like let's take for an example for hover. Stop hovering around my head. When stop following me around, stop trying to inspect me around it. So when the humid shadows here refers to, remember students, the clouds. So I want all of you to kindly underline this term and then write it down. Over all the starry spheres. Now I think it's easy to understand, but starry spheres refers to the celestial bodies in the sky. What happens when there's cloud? Are we able to see any stars? No, we aren't. So that is what he is describing, that when the humid shadows hover over all the starry spheres and the melancholy darkness. Here let's try to imagine this. Imagine that it's a crystal clear night. How will the sky be? It will be bright with the moon as well as the various stars. But suppose it's not as such of a clear sky and there are dark clouds which have actually covered those stars. What would happen? It will be dark all around. He is denoting the darkness to that of sadness. Here our poet is also referring to his mood. How? We will be discussing through the poetic devices again later. And the melancholy darkness. He is referring to the darkness as sad, as upsetting. Gently weeps in rainy tears. Here see, the darkness is being personified. We all know what personification is. Personification is the poetic device when some inanimate object or thing has been given some humanly tendencies to follow. Our shadows or is darkness able to weep? No, it's human tendency to weep when they are upset. So here when our poet says gently weeps in rainy tears, he is actually using personification to express it. And in this line, and the melancholy darkness, remember I said that our poet is actually transferring his own sadness. Here he has used transferred epithet. In transferred epithet, when a poet tries to transfer the meaning of one thing to that of completely different, like his own, we may state that when there are the humid shadows, it must have been quite upsetting for him. He must have been not very happy. He must have been a little bit upset, and that's why he denotes that meaning completely to that of this line. And the melancholy darkness, he shifts, he transfers the sadness of his own mind to that of the darkness, and then he uses personification in the very next line by saying, gently weeps in rainy tears. What a bliss to press the pillow of a cottage chamber bed. And he's saying, when such an atmosphere is there, how much peaceful and how much lovely it is to actually lie down in your cottage chamber bed. Cottage, we all know, students, cottage is a small house, maybe in some countryside, maybe in some forest side, and there how much peaceful it must be to actually lie down on the pillow of a cottage chamber bed and lie listening to the patter of the soft rain overhead. So what is he saying? First, in the first 4 lines, he actually describes the geographical conditions out there, and then he is moving back into the cottage chamber bed, and he's saying how much peaceful and how much lovely it would be to actually press the pillow. Press the pillow means lie down, put your head on the pillow. What happens when we put our head on the pillow? We feel very relaxed. And he says how much blissful it would be to actually lie down in such an atmosphere in a cottage chamber bed and lie listening to the soft patter of the rain overhead. Every tinkle on the shingles. Now students, in order to understand the meaning of shingles, you will have to move to the next page. Here it is given, rectangular wooden tiles used on roofs. You may have seen the picture of shingles in the books where the description or a picture of a hut is being given. So as I stated before, a cottage may be in the countryside, and the shingles are the wooden blocks which are placed on the roof. Every tinkle on the shingles, tinkle is the sound produced when the raindrops must be falling over the shingles of the roof, has an echo in the heart, and 1,000 dreamy fancies into busy being stirred. And what he says now, that every tinkling sound produced by the raindrops when they fall upon the shingle actually has an echo in our heart. He can actually feel the soft pattering of the rain in his heart, and 1,000 dreamy fancies into busy being stirred. And once he actually hears to those raindrops falling upon the shingles of his roof, there are 1,000 dreams which he starts having. We can say there are many fancies, there are many dreamy fancies. They actually start up in his mind. And what are those? And 1,000 recollections weave their air threads into woof. Now it's a beautiful example, students. Here our poet has beautifully used metaphor. How? And 1,000 recollections. Remember, he says that when the raindrops fall, he can actually feel the echo of the sound in his heart. And there are 1,000 dreamy fancies which start in his mind. And there are many recollections of the past, and there are many more memories which actually come to surface when he actually listens to the rain. See, the simple act of nature, the simple raining has created so many things. He feels peaceful. He may have been upset through the early lines as we get to know, but he feels peaceful. There are many more fancies which actually come up in his mind, and there are thousands of recollections, thousands of wonderful memories which actually come up in his mind unbudded. How? Weave their air threads into woof. Now woof means the threads woven across the loom. Let's because it is a metaphor, we will have to compare. How will we compare? Here our poet is actually trying to express, you may have seen a cloth being woven, isn't it? And how is a cloth woven? With the help of threads, right? So he's saying that the recollections, the thousands of memories which were there, they actually weave their air threads. They weave themselves into a sort of a pattern or into a sort of a palette in front of him. It is as if all those recollections are weaving with each other in order to create a picture in front of us. I think you all may actually understand in this way. Whenever you are happy or whenever you are at peace, there are some or the other good memories associated with some actions. Like, let's take for an example, your favorite food. Alright, if your mother prepares a favorite food, while having that food, there must be thousands of memories actually hidden along with that food, which when you actually have, you actually remember those beautiful memories associated with that particular thing. Similarly, it seems that the falling of the raindrops over the shingles actually unfurled so many beautiful recollections that he feels as if all those memories have actually woven themselves in the form of a palette, and they are actually moving in front of his eyes like that of a movie or like that of a bioscope. As I listen to the patter of the rain upon the roof. And when are all these things happening in his heart? When he is listening to the patter of the raindrops upon the roof. I hope it is clear till now. Now in memory comes my mother, as she used in years agone. Agone means years ago. Now in memory comes my mother. Now students, let's try to understand this. Now in memory comes my mother, as she used in years agone. So it's somewhere or the other, it seems as if the mother, whom our poet is actually remembering right now, she may not be in this world. And how do we get to know? Through this line, as she used in years agone, because he is remembering his mother as she used to look and as she used to behave years ago. And what was the type of behavior by the mother of the poet? To regard the darling dreamers. Now, who are the darling dreamers? Again, here's the usage of metaphor. The darling dreamers actually refers to the poet and his siblings. Who are the dreamers or who are the darlings of a mother? The children. So dreamers, that means the children who must be sleeping, the darling children of the mother who must be sleeping. To regard the darling dreamers, where she left them till the dawn. Oh, I feel her fond look on me as I listen to this refrain. Here, list means listen. And he is remembering his mother when the way she used to look years ago. And what is the memory which comes to his mind related to the mother? Because mothers are very special to our heart. Okay, they are the ones who love us the most, they do not stop themselves from loving us no matter what, isn't it? So our poet also seems to be very close to the mother. She may or may not be in this world. That's why he is remembering her so fondly. And what is the memory which comes to a poet's mind? The memory is of the mother who has come to the room to regard her darling dreamers, to just check on the children whether they have slept or not, to her darling children. I think our mothers also do that, isn't it? When she also comes at night to check whether her children, whether her babies are safe or not, whether they are sleeping, whether they have any problem or not. You must recall that as well, where she left them till the dawn. So a mother's heart is so tender, is so full of love for her darlings, for her children, that even though she knows that her children are in the room beside her, and they will be there, she has actually made them sleep in that room till the dawn, till the early next morning. But still, her heart is so tender and so full of love that she cannot stop herself from going and opening the door just a bit and trying to look at her darling dreamers that, okay, they are safe. He is remembering that memory. Oh, I feel her fond look on me. Now, it does not mean that the mother was standing right in front of our poet when he was writing. No, it means that the love with which the mother must have been looking at her children or shall I say the poet and and his siblings, when they were kids, the poet can still feel the love of his mother, from the look, the fond look which she used to give. So he's saying that I can still feel the fond look of my mother, the love. I can still feel the love, the warmth of my mother from the way she used to look at us, on me. As I listen to this refrain, as I'm listening to this refrain, what is the meaning of refrain? Refrain is the meaning, or it is a repeated part of a song of a poem. See, the meaning is given here. It is a repeated part of a song or the poem. And what is the repeated part here? What is the refrain? What is the sort of a mantra which is being continuously happening? Our poet is actually lying down. He is recollecting a lot of things. He is dreaming of a lot of things. There are many more recollections. There are many more dreams. And one of the most beautiful dreams is that of his mother regarding him and his siblings, with love, love-filled eyes and heart full of love for her children. So what is the continuous thing which is happening along with these things? Yes, the rain on the roof. So the repeated part which is happening all around while our poet is actually reminiscing so many beautiful things about his childhood is the rain on the roof. A simple act of the nature has such, our poet is expressing that the nature is so very special. How is it special? It has such a healing power. It has such a wonderful power of healing that no matter how we feel, if our nature even does a small act of kindness, it makes us happy. In this context, it's the rain. The falling of the raindrops on the roof creates such a soothing impact on our poet's heart that he's remembering the best part of his life. People always say, the best part of our life. Remember that this is the best part of our life. You may have heard as well. And what is the best part of our life? Yes, the life you are living. The childhood. Where we are not worried about anything. Where the most problematic thing for us would be, what would we have for dinner? Will our mother actually prepare the same thing as yesterday? No, I do not like that sabzi. Let us have something else. Let us try to convince our mother that she prepares our favorite junk food. That used to be the toughest part of our day, isn't it? But now there are so many things. So our nature is so very special that even the simple raining is making him remember the most beautiful memories of his life and is making him reminisce his best part of his life, and that was his childhood, which is played upon the shingles by the patter of the rain. And what is the refrain? The rain on the roof, which he is able to listen on the shingles. That is the patter of the rain. I hope it was understandable to you. Yes, there are few more poetic devices, as you can see. As I explained, transferred epithet is being primarily used in your first stanza. First in the line, humid shadows hover, where we understand that the humid shadows actually refer to the humid clouds which are holding the raindrops. Then the melancholy darkness, as I said, where he has completely transferred the meaning of the sadness in his heart to that of the sadness in the darkness. Next is personification. Again in this line, gently weeps in rainy tears. Well, clouds or the shadows or the darkness do not have this humanly tendency to weep. It is the human tendency, and because weeping is an action done by the humans, and it is being corroborated to that of a non-living thing or a non-living entity. That is why the usage of personification is done. Then there is refrain. Refrain is being used when there is continuous usage of this line. Listen to the patter of the rain upon the roof. This line is being continuously used. This is actually a literary device where a poet actually uses a certain part of a line or certain terms in order to create a mantra, like a chant-like quality in a poem. So that is why refrain is being used. Metaphor I already explained. There is the usage of darling dreamers. Then there's this line, weave their air threads into woof. See, even though I haven't mentioned, there's a slight usage of visual imagery as well. When he actually describes weave their air threads into woof, it actually creates a little bit of picture in our mind. And also in the part when he's describing how the describing the condition of the sky. So there's a slight usage of visual imagery as well. Onomatopoeia. Now students, try to understand, this is a very very important poetic device. This poetic device is used when a poet is trying to describe sound words. And what are the sound words here? Pitter patter. Then there is this one, the patter of the rain, the tinkle on the shingles. These that word tinkle, pitter, patter, these are the sound words which actually gives us an idea of how the raindrops must have sound to a poet when he must have been listening to it. Alliteration, needless to say, you can easily find out on your own. That's why I'm not going to give you the example. You all know what is alliteration. Alliteration is the usage of, shall I say, the repetition of the initial consonant sound. I can give you just one example. Lie listening. The initial sounds are L, L, lie, listening. Similarly, it's your homework, students. You all have to find out the example of lie, listening, usage of alliteration. One example I already gave you, lie, listening. You will have to find out the various examples of alliteration throughout the poem yourself. Alright? And next one is the rhyme scheme. Rhyme scheme is A, B, C, D, E, F, G. See? Hour, swears, darkness, tears, pillow, bed, patter, overhead. None of the lines actually rhyme with each other. Remember in the beginning I told you that this was usually sung in the manner of a song. That is one of the reasons. Why? Because this kind of rhyme scheme is unique, and it is being known that famous musician Mozart used to had a habit of using this rhyme scheme while actually playing himself or conducting the music in an opera. Alright, so that's why this used to be sung on the tunes of giving multiple tunes, because of this completely new, completely unique type of rhyme scheme. So this was all, students, for this chapter. I hope I was able to explain this chapter to you in detail. In case there are any more queries, kindly feel free to drop it in the comment box. Do mention in which line, in which part, or what were the queries, or what was the part where you thought that you need much more explanation. I'll definitely try my level best to clarify your doubts. Alright, that's all for today. That's all for this class, students. Have a good day. Study very well. Thank you so much.